there, YouTube! In this video I'll be cooking a bacon-wrapped pork loin with a side of peach sauce. The recipe I'll be following comes from the February-March issue of Cook's Country magazine. Christy Morrison, who wrote the article, did an outstanding job in explaining all the trials and errors that went into getting the recipe just right. The recipe itself is a great one. The only problem I found was that it was all done in the oven. Now, I'm not totally against using the oven, but if you can incorporate some smoke, especially on pork, why not? So that's what I decided to do. Add some smoke. First things first, you're going to need a 3 to 3.5 pound pork loin or pork roast. Remove its fat cap and dry brine it with a couple teaspoons of coarse kosher salt. Let it sit wrapped in the fridge for about 3 to 24 hours. After that, unwrap it and pat dry with a paper towel. Season both sides of the pork with 2 teaspoons of herbes de Provence and 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper. If you sprinkle the mixture from 8 to 10 inches above, it'll coat more evenly. When selecting a bacon for wrapping a roast or a tenderloin, go with a thinner cut. Leave a thick cut for breakfast. Now, I've tweaked the recipe here a little bit by doing a bacon weave. In hindsight, I think it's better not to do a weave because although it looks cool, the bacon doesn't evenly cook in a weave. I guess I was just going for appearance on this one today. It's totally up to you though. Assemble your smoker for a slow and low cook. This means putting water in the water pan. You're only going to need about a chimney of coals or 1 or 2 chunks of wood for smoke. Once it's up to temp, adjust the lower vents so the pit settles between 225 to 235 degrees. Now, you're only going to be smoking this loin until it reaches an internal temperature of 90 degrees. After that, it goes in the oven. But before that happens, it needs time for smoke. That's why I recommend leaving the pork in the fridge until it's ready to go on the smoker. While that pork is on the smoker, you want to get started with a sauce. You're going to need 20 ounces of frozen peaches, a half a cup of stevia, 1 cup of dry white wine, a 1/3 cup of cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of whole grain mustard, I recommend Grey Poupons, a half a teaspoon of kosher salt, and 4 sprigs of fresh thyme. Combine everything except for the mustard into a medium saucepan and bring to a simmer over medium-high heat. Reduce the heat to medium and stir occasionally. When the sauce thickens, remove the sprigs of thyme. The sauce should resemble something like this. As you're doing this, preheat your oven to 475 degrees. Using a small spoon, remove some of the liquid from the peach sauce. We're going to use this to baste the roast before it goes in the oven. Once that's done, remove the sauce from the heat. Once that pork loin has reached 90 degrees internal temperature, it's time to remove it from the smoker and bring it on in the house. Now we're going to take some of that sauce, the liquid we removed from the peach sauce, and baste our roast on both sides. Place the pork loin in the oven and reheat the peach sauce on a low heat. Stir in the ground mustard. It should look like this. Once the internal temperature of the pork loin has reached 130 degrees, or 135 in this case, remove it from the oven and let it rest for 15 minutes. The temperature of the loin is going to continue to rise by at least 10 degrees, so our target temperature here is between 140 and 145 for doneness. Once that's done, slice it and serve it with some of that great peach sauce. All I can say is that this recipe with the incorporation of the smoker is awesome. The low heat of the smoker in the front end allowed the pork to take in some great flavor and left a nice smoke ring. That with the high heat in the oven, which allowed the bacon to crisp and the loin to finish, was spot on. All the flavors come together so well. The pork with mild smoke, the crisp salty bacon, and the sweet peach sauce. Wow. I can't say enough. I hope you guys give it a try. Thanks for watching, y'all.